Just a warning before you start listening to this episode of the pod, the first 4 minutes or so are a discussion of the loss of a pet. If this is something that may trigger you, skip ahead to about the 4-minute mark. If not, take care with when and with whom you listen. Just want to rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah.
So, hi, welcome to, what's the podcast called? Welcome to Soon to Be a Major Motion Podcast.
Jesus Christ.
The podcast where we read books that were turned into movies and watch movies that are based on books. I am one of your hosts, Billy Beck.
I am the other host, Cody Beck.
And normally we like to open this with
fun and joy and a joke.
A little like cold open with some jokey jokes and some laughs and some non sequiturs, and then I stumble into a segue and we move on. But you may have noticed in the description of our last episode, there was a little R.I.P. Marshmallow Beck. We were gonna record this about a week and a half before we did. We were gonna record this the day the last episode came out, but that Monday prior, we lost one of our baby girls, Marshmallow. She had been sick for about 4 or 5 months. We were never quite able to nail down with the vet what was going on. We believe it was most likely cancer. But she fell asleep Sunday night. She didn't get her dinner, and she didn't wake up in the morning. And we found her first thing, and we were able to take care of her. But we delayed recording this a week because of this, which means we're recording on the day we would have recorded were the Olympics not happening. So I am a little tired. But as far as us, we're handling it probably as well as we can. Luna is the most spoiled baby in LA County. So, yeah, frequent contributor to the early days of the pod, Marshmallow.
Oh no, now I can never listen to the old episodes.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to add?
No, I think you covered it.
Okay.
She was a good little void.
She was our baby. Alright, now I gotta, like, psych myself up to do a content warning. Content warning. Content.
Now, is this for the Nazis or for the dead pet?
Oh, no, this is for the dead pet. Dead pet content warning. We'll get to the Nazis later. That's gonna be real uncomfortable to edit tomorrow after a full day of work. So, besides the elephant no longer in the room, how's your week been? I hate how that's how I have it in the notes.
I can't even make the joke I wanted to make. Because the joke I wanted to make is I want to kill myself.
You are not allowed. Because I'm pretty sure I don't get the insurance payout if it's suicide.
I can't discuss the specifics for obvious reasons, but I've been stuck on a project at work for 7 working days, and I finally figured it out today, and I literally was so anxious about it that I could not fall asleep last night. And this is like something that has legal strings attached, so it had to be done, and I brought it in on time and under budget.
That's my girl. So you did find, like, the last piece of the puzzle today, and it all sorted out?
Yes, I literally texted you in all caps. I'm free.
So you texted me as I was leaving work, and I was like, I gotta listen to this because it might be important, because everything you say is important.
Aww.
And Siri did not know how to handle some words when they're in all caps, so she treated a few of the words like abbreviations.
Oh no! I also didn't punctuate because it was all caps.
Well, yeah, punctuation isn't necessary when you're yelling. The punctuation is implied.
So, that aside, how about you?
Olympics?
Oh, that's a thing?
I've been watching the Olympics.
Have
now,
you?
The original plan, where we were going to record this a week ago, which is a week ahead of our normal routine. We were going to fill it in so I could sit and enjoy the whole 2 weeks of the Olympics. And then I was going to edit it before the opening ceremony Friday night, and then not sleep all weekend. And then, as we discussed, didn't happen. So we're trying to jam this in the 3-4 hours a day I'm not watching the Olympics because I've seen enough.
Oh my god. She did it on purpose. She wanted to inconvenience you one last time.
What a bitch. But anyway, I've been watching as much Olympics as I can. There's a show on Peacock that jumps from event to event as Americans are competing or gold medals are happening, which is exactly what I want. And I've been watching that from when it starts at 4 in the morning to when it ends at 2:15 in the afternoon. And then from 8 to like 11 or 11:30 at night, we'll watch the primetime coverage, which is events I've seen already. I'm just watching them with Cody this time.
Yes, he is autistically giving me information dumps about all of the events that we're watching.
And you fucking love it.
I do enjoy it because you are having so much fun, but also friend of the pod Mark texted me earlier this week and just said, how do you feel about being an Olympics widow?
That's my boy. I did not know that. That's so good. But yeah, I'm really excited for tonight's prime time because it's the women's gymnastics all around.
Hell yeah.
And, oh, have we been eating up these gymnastics? Without spoiling Cody for something she definitely knows happened.
Considering what I texted you earlier.
It is I texted you the exact same thing.
I know, but I saw it on my...
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how, but somehow I get Olympics, not coverage, but like Olympics updates on my work computer.
You get the breaking news thing at the bottom?
Yes.
And then you click it. So you know about Ledecky's 13th all-time medal, because I got that too today.
I may not be the biggest fan of this country, but god damn it, I am patriotic when Katie Ledecky is swimming.
That bitch in the pool, I am as American as they come.
Swim, motherfucker!
God, I want them to do that mixed relay again. Which is like, it's like a 4x200 or something freestyle, but it's 2 men, 2 women. And you can go in any order. So when it happened in Tokyo, there was one leg of it that was 7 women and like Caleb Dressel in the pool. And it's Caleb Dressel just hauling ass. And I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, run them bitches down.
I remember this!
Oh god, it's one of the most fun nights I've had watching Olympics before. Oh, it was such a great event. I really want them to bring that shit back because it was great. We'll beat the Australians there.
This is an Australian hatred household for the duration of the Olympics.
It's spread beyond the swimming pool too, because that's the rivalry, right? That's how they're telling the story. Mm-hmm. But when the U.S. beat Australia for the bronze in rugby, I'm screaming at the TV at 10:30 in the morning, and I'm pretty sure I woke up a neighbor or two.
Australia has a fever, and the only solution
is more cowbell. The American surfers today had a cowbell out in fucking Tahiti. Like, it's happening.
I love that this woman, who is retired, not even on the fucking team, has now caused an entire country to despise her and everyone else from her country by opening her mouth on cable television.
And what's really funny is I'm pretty sure the current members of both swim teams are actually friends.
Yes.
Because they all go to like school together and they like swim in the same pools. And they just happen to represent different countries. So it's like a friendly rivalry there, but it's gotten heated outside of the actual teams.
Doesn't Katie Ledecky swim with like one of the male swimmers? And like Leon Marchand's coach.
Oh, it's like Phelps' old coach. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he went to the University of Virginia, I think.
No, Arizona.
Arizona. to swim. And also the education part, I guess, maybe. Like, there's some good stuff coming out of these games. I'm really enjoying them so far.
Speaking of which.
Speaking of good stuff in games.
I couldn't help but notice there was another event today in which we won gold.
Oh, a shock American gold medal in the sport of rowing? Gee, how can I segue this into what we're talking about this week? Could it be that we are discussing the real-life story of the 1936 U.S. men's 8-man rowing crew? The boys in the boat? Who, spoiler, shockingly won gold?
Well, one of them was fucking dying.
Lost 15 pounds and they didn't hear the start gun and they won the fucking race?
They were in the goddamn worst lane?
The boys in the fucking boat? The realest of American heroes? The goddamn boys in the boat?
Hell yeah,
the
put Seattle on the map.
The Republican dream of pulling yourselves up by the bootstraps into an Olympic gold medal and defeating Hitler? The motherfucking boys in the fuckstick boat?
You've been listening to too much Snoop. You're starting to sound like Samuel L. Jackson.
I have had it with these motherfucking boys on this motherfucking boat.
So should we just play the trailer now?
Let's play the fucking trailer.
There are some moments in life you'll never forget. The Depression hit everyone hard. No jobs, no food. We were broke.
Looks like you still owe a balance on this semester.
So what's that about, making some money?
Yeah, the rowing team. You're on it, you get a part-time job included, cheap place to live.
8-man crew is the most difficult team sport in the world. The average human body is just not meant for such things. Most of you will not be chosen.
Beautiful speech, Coach.
You're announcing the team today. Are you gonna make it?
We rode out of need.
Come on, boys.
The need to stay in school, the need to eat, to sleep.
We gotta keep these, right? As long as we stay on the team.
Washington Huskies coach is bringing an inexperienced boat to the competition.
They said we couldn't compete with the richest schools in the nation.
The Washington boat has taken the lead. Washington has done it.
I got 9 seconds under the course record.
Olympic year this year. Olympic year? I didn't realize.
That bunch of kids rode like no one else that's ever come through here. Everybody else tires, they just get stronger.
We have a boat that I believe could qualify for an Olympic spot.
Hope you know what you're doing.
They said we couldn't beat the Germans.
We gotta beat those other schools first, but Coach says we have a shot.
Maybe we can row as a team.
If you guys don't get yourselves figured out, you're not racing at all.
The boys, that boat, that's all I got.
But they didn't understand who we were.
Let's show what's in this book.
I don't believe what I'm seeing.
Best fellas, they're connected. Sweat and pain.
For what it's worth, I'm proud of you boys.
Inspiring.
You missed the part where I told him not to tip over.
And I
Row for your country. Row for each other.
For all the people who never believed in you. As one. As one.
Joe Rance is a homeless student at the University of Washington in 1936. With 2 weeks left to pay his tuition, he tries out for the JV crew, which promises boarding and a job to the 8 men who make the team. Through pride and sheer force of will, he makes the team. Wouldn't be much of a movie if he didn't, right? While the 8 on the crew are strong individual rowers, they can't quite gel as a team in one boat. Enter Bobby Mock, an unorthodox coxswain who gets the boys to sync up. They win their first race against Cal and regularly beat the varsity boat in practice. Coach Al Ulbrichtson decides to send the JV boat to the Poughkeepsie Regatta, which doubles as the U.S. Olympic qualifier. After falling behind early on, they storm back late to win the race and qualify for the Olympic Games. With only a week until they depart for Berlin, the U.S. Olympic Committee informs them that they don't have the funds to get them to the Games, so they must raise $5,000 in a week, or a better funded team will go in their place. They successfully fundraise, pushed over the top by a substantial donation from the coach of Cal. In Berlin, Don Hume, the pace setter, falls ill, but they manage to set an Olympic record in their first heat to qualify for the final. Despite a suspiciously unfortunate lane assignment, and Bobby Mock missing the starting gun, and Hume's illness taking its toll, the team pushes hard for the back half of the final to win gold in a photo finish. A disappointed Adolf Hitler storms off, presumably to the athletics events, where he's sure to avoid further embarrassment. Oh, hi, Jesse Owens. LOL, get fucked, you Nazi.
So most of what you said is actually correct?
I don't fucking believe you.
All of the shit that seems the worst, like the $5,000...
Yeah, okay, let me give you a list of things that I wanted to ask, was this real?
Okay.
These are the things that I thought were made up for the movie.
Okay.
Missing the starting gun.
No, that happened to both them and Great Britain. Specifically because the way that the person was set up, the author noted that weirdly he was not in the coxswain's line of sight.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So both Great Britain and the U.S., who were in the 5 and 6 lanes, missed the starting gun.
My god.
It may have been Great Britain or Canada. I don't remember which.
That's almost like too evil Hitler. Like, yes. That's so fucking on the nose.
Yeah.
Raising $5,000 in a week.
Yes, that did happen. And it was very heavily implied that it was planned by Yale, because Yale already had the funding for it, and they were basically like, well, obviously we'll be fine to pay our way if you can't make it.
I think in the movie they came in third behind Washington and Cal.
Yes, I believe they did.
Yeah, because there's a scene where the guy from the Olympic Committee, I don't think it was called the U.S. Olympic Committee then, it was something else.
In the book, he called it the IOC. I don't know.
Okay.
Brundage or whatever.
But he says, like, if you can't do it, we have some other funded teams, like maybe Cal can raise the funds, or Yale. And then, like, they look over and the Yale team is, like, polishing their watches or some shit. Like, it's, like, real blatant.
That was actually something. They did not get any funds from Cal. That was added for the movie. The way that he did it was that I believe not Roger Morris, the coach basically illicitly sent a wire to the West Coast, like, hey boys, we need some fucking money, and they went out and, like, literally everyone in the city of Seattle donated money. People from the boys' hometowns donated money, and they raised it in 2 days.
They did that as a montage in the movie, and it took them a week in the movie.
They had a week, it took them 2 days, and then they airmailed the check.
Oh, they're like at deadline in the movie. Okay, so this is a little different. They're at the deadline, and they're like $300 short, and the coach of Cal comes in and writes an IOU.
No, was the coach of Cal Kai Ebright?
Maybe. I didn't grab a lot of names because there's so many people and they're all real people.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm just gonna concentrate on the main characters and the cinematic version of the story, right?
Yeah.
So the lane assignment was real.
Yes. So the fun thing was the coach, Ulbrichtson.
Yeah.
He actually petitioned the German authorities and the Olympic Committee and was like, lanes 5 and 6 are not usable. People are going to get hurt. And they're like, no, you're going to do 6 lanes. And then in the qualifying, they had lane 1, which is the best assignment. Mm-hmm. And then opposite of all traditional rules, the boats were basically put in reverse order for the slowest boats were given the most protected lanes, and the fastest boats were given the shitty lanes.
Yeah, which is not how it's supposed to work. And there's even a scene in the movie where he goes to, I guess, the event organizer for the rowing and complains about it.
Yes, that is a real thing that happened. It was actually supposed to be the other way.
Yeah, that's fucking wild. Like, you don't see that now. Like, we've been watching a lot of swimming the last couple days, and you can tell by where they are what the qualifying time was.
Yes.
And like
that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, it's wild that didn't happen. I wonder if they still do it that way in rowing, or if like the modern courses are so like pristine and well kept that there's not really much of a difference. Because I've been watching some today, as obviously, literally watching BMX racing right now. There was another one.
Don Hume's illness was real.
That's the one. Don Hume. So he lost like so much fucking weight, huh?
Yes, they don't know. They don't know to this day what it was. They don't know whether it was walking pneumonia, whether he had he had a cold from the time that from the time they had the race at Poughkeepsie until the fucking Olympics, and it just kept getting worse.
Jeez.
They literally had him on a massage table wrapped in blankets because they were like, he's not gonna survive.
And then they go and hit, I think it's 45 strokes a minute or 46 strokes a minute or something like that in that race. Like some absurd pace.
Yeah, it's much higher than they normally go.
I have it written down because I get into this shit, right? 46 strokes a minute, which is what they hit in the Olympic Games originally. And I was watching some races today, and they were flirting around 39-40.
Yes, so normally most of the highest that they'd ever gone prior to the Olympics, if I'm recalling correctly from the book, is like 41, because they didn't need to go any higher.
Yeah.
But in the Olympics, they had, the extra 2 lengths from the lane assignment, plus Don Hume was fucking dying for most of the race.
Like, the way they do that in the movie, and I assume this is more cinematic, because I'm not sure how thorough the account is of the race itself from inside the boat in the book, but like, Hume is fading, and Bobby Mock, like, slaps him awake, and is like, nah, get up. He starts singing a song that Don Hume played at a dance earlier in the movie. He starts singing the song to give him the beat, and that's what gets the boat going again.
So basically, the way that it's described in the book is that Don Hume is basically like, the only reason he's still moving his oar is muscle memory. He's like not present at all. And he's not reacting to Bobby, to the point that Bobby is like, I'm gonna have to fucking tell Joe, who's sitting right behind him, he's gonna have to be the stroke, which is the position that he's in. And as he's about to do that, like, he's screaming in Don's face for like 2 minutes. As he is about to grab Joe, Don like perks back up and he's like, pick it up.
That's amazing. Like, this whole story is so fucking fascinating as I'm watching the modern games, and like the amount of pressure these people are under in this position. Now, 8-man crew in 1936 wasn't as much pressure as, say, women's gymnastics all around in 2024, right? It's not quite the same level, but war is on the horizon, and this is about like national pride, and these guys had that.
So,
and also, more than that, they had pride in themselves.
Something really interesting, and I already know that they don't go into this in the movie because I asked you. The book has throughout the course of the book, there are a couple asides from Germany. There's a section from Joseph Goebbels' perspective. There's a section from Leni Riefenstahl's perspective. There's a section from the guy who designed the Reichssportfeld. There is...
Which is German for the water sports field.
No, the big stadium.
Oh.
Because basically that
Sorry. I don't know German either.
Reichssportsportfeld, Reich is obviously
Reich.
Reich.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's the big fucking thing.
I actually didn't know enough
complex.
Germany. Yeah. I thought it was just called the Olympic Stadium. But maybe that's
probably in English.
Yeah, that's probably just what we call it.
But there's a section from his perspective, because he literally was given like a week to design the plans and give actionable blueprints to Hitler. The book is almost written like a herald, in that all of these pieces are coming together at the end. Because there's a very funny segment before the opening games where apparently Joseph Goebbels and Leni Riefenstahl were screaming in each other's faces because Leni had a cameraman suspended over the box, and Joseph was like, absolutely not, this is you're ruining the whole image, you can't do this. And Leni herself tied herself onto the cameraman's position and hung her body outside of it because she was like, I am not losing this position because you're an asshole.
So he was worried it would like ruin the image for the live audience?
Yes, he thought it was ruining the panorama.
The only way people remember those games is through footage shot by Riefenstahl.
Yes.
Like, that is...
They did not get
the Nazis lost because they couldn't think forward. Let's be real here. Like, they didn't react to D-Day because Hitler was sleeping in. I've seen that film. The fuck's it called?
Olympia.
It's just called Olympia?
Olympia.
I couldn't remember.
Yep.
I've seen... I own a copy of it because it's part of a box set of 36 films of the Olympic Games, the official films of each Olympics from like 1904, I think is the earliest one, all the way up to 2012. Or it might be 1912 to 2012.
Yeah, 100 years.
Yeah, 100 years,
right.
1912 to 2012, except for the first LA Games, the 32 LA Games. There's no film. But I digress. I've seen the footage this woman shot, and the way we know the Olympic Games today started with her and the Nazis.
Did you?
The pageantry of it, the torch relay.
I was gonna say, I didn't know that came from these fucking games.
That came from the fucking Nazis in 36 Berlin. I like to hope, because I am an optimist, especially when it comes to the Olympics. Should I tell my story? Do I get into details? In 1996, a 6-year-old lad met a man who rode a horse in the Atlanta Olympic Games. And his mother had a program for the Atlanta Games that she had signed by this man who rode the horse, and gave it to her son, which was me. And I cherished that book. I read it cover to cover twice a year. And it was just a program. It was just, here's the sports, here's how they work, here's who to look out for. I've revisited this book in adulthood. Lance Armstrong is in this book.
Ooh.
Kurt Angle is in this book.
Oh my god, I forgot it was the Atlanta Games!
It's the Atlanta Games. My phone guy at work is in this book.
Oh yeah!
Because he...
Archery or shooting?
Archery. Gold medal in archery. And I've seen it, and that man has not changed, except he's got less hair. Still halfway to his ass, just less of it. Cool dude. But that started in me like an obsession with it, because it's like, oh, I want to watch this. It's in the U.S. This is like a big thing, and I'm like just coming into terms. Like I'm just starting to realize in my childhood like what sports are and how they work.
You have suddenly gained consciousness.
And it was, here's all of them, learned them, and I did. And then 1998 came around, and that was the Nagano Winter Olympic Games. And this was just after they started doing every 2 years. Bear in mind, for those our age and younger, hard to realize. Including 1992, the games were played in the same year, winter and summer. And then 1994 is when they all offset to Lillehammer. 98, Nagano. I'm 8 years old and I get a little game for my Nintendo 64 for Christmas. That is the Nagano Winter Olympics 1998. There's a winter one? He asks himself, puts the cartridge in. Skiing. Speed skating. Snowboarding. And the one that would change my life forever, curling. I played this game more than I played motherfucking Super Mario 64, because the curling was fucking good, okay?
Was Nagano the Tanya Harding?
That was 94.
94.
I do have the faintest memories of that happening, but like not enough to remember. Like I just like knowing that it was happening. You know?
I feel like I remember the trial in like 96.
Yeah. But 98 was, I think Tara Lipinski was 98.
That sounds right. Michelle Kwan.
I think she was 98 as well. She might have been 2002. But it was like that era, and I want to say Tara Lipinski was the one who was like Philly local.
Yes.
So she was on the news every fucking night. And my mom loves figure skating. So every night we were watching the figure skating.
Your mom, the baton twirler.
And then from there, every 2 years, I'm looking forward to the games. And I've been following them super close ever since. Why did I tell that story?
Something about obsession. And
why I have a
Lenny Riefenstahl.
Lenny Riefenstahl disc.
It is fascinating the way that the author talks about Lenny Riefenstahl, because so basically, Triumph of the Will. the most famous propaganda film in the world. If you have a mental image of what Nazi Germany looks like, it's probably from that movie.
Yep.
That is almost directly a quote from the book.
Yeah.
She also shot the 36 or 37 Nuremberg rally. It might be 35. My years are getting confused because there's a lot of years in the book.
Yeah.
But she basically would spend, after the war, she spends the rest of her life denying where her funding came from and denying that she was a propagandist. She was just shooting the games from love of art.
Yes, but also the way she shoots Jesse Owens in that film, that man is treated like a god. She doesn't even shoot Hitler the way she shoots Jesse Owens.
Well, she can't. Jesse Owens had like 1.5 feet on Hitler.
She's camera fucking Jesse Owens when he runs and when he jumps.
I also believe for the movie they switched the time because Jesse Owens had already won at the time the rowing race took place.
The bit about Hitler heading off to athletics was a joke.
Oh, okay.
No, in the movie, Jesse Owens does appear during the opening ceremony.
Yes, on the trip over, it talks about how the boys got on first name basis with people like Glenn Cunningham and Jesse Owens, and there was a third one whose name I don't remember.
I was going to try and pull a name from those games out of my ass, but those were the Jesse Owens games, let's be real.
Yeah. And it also talks about how generally the American public, and by the American public I mean kind of the establishment, was more than happy to be deceived about what was going on in Germany. Mm-hmm. The gentleman who was head of the American Olympic Committee at the time, Brundage, was worried that people were going to boycott because of the news coming out of Germany. And he basically employed super anti-Semitic tactics to say that essentially the Jews were being hysterical and nothing was actually happening. Because I went to Germany and it was fine. The way that the author describes it is that Brundage was ready to be deceived.
A much better podcast than ours, Behind the Bastards, did not too long earlier this year. The bastard behind the Olympic Games, and I believe one of the episodes, if not the whole thing, is about Brundage. He comes up a lot.
Seems like a real peach in the book.
Yeah, he's a real winner. Real dickhead. But let's be honest, a lot of officials in sport are real fucking dickheads.
Something that the author also goes out of the way to do is talk about Grunau, which is the area where the rowing is held, and about how basically the boys, actually when they would like spend time in Berlin and around Grunau, they would see like, oh, this beautiful synagogue, and he went out of his way to point out that this synagogue was burned to the ground 2 years later on Kristallnacht.
Wow.
And there was actually a family of Jewish people. I'm gonna have to double check what their name is, but basically it talks about how the daughter had just gotten back from visiting relatives in Wisconsin, and the family was trying to get out, but the father wasn't trying too hard because he didn't think anything would actually happen to them, and they were all shipped off separately to labor camps originally, and then ultimately concentration death camps. The only one who escaped was the daughter, the oldest daughter, because they also had a 9-year-old daughter. She was the first one that was picked up and rounded up because she had asthma. Basically, when they're talking about the beauty of Grunau and everything that's going on at the, like how beautiful and state-of-the-art and modern everything is, the author goes out of the way to point out that basically every single person that these boys would have interacted with in that town eventually ended up dying as a result of the war in 2 to 7 short years.
Wow. Fuck.
He also spent a little bit of time talking about how homeless people and Roma were rounded up and sent off to, small centers out of the way where they could be, just like hidden from sight.
Good thing this all happened in the past and we can't relate it to any recent Supreme Court decisions that were made in our country.
Or, the rounding up of homeless people in LA.
You know the Supreme Court decision I'm talking about?
The one where slave labor?
No, the one where you can make it illegal to sleep outside.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's the Supreme Court decided that it is not cruel and unusual punishment to fine people for not having enough money to afford a place to live.
Was that about 13th again?
Yeah, we can get into that because that's all also part of it. But yeah.
Another difference from the books to the movie is that they are juniors.
Okay, because this all happens their freshman year in the film.
This does not all happen their freshman year. So the freshman year of most of the boys is 34. The book takes place mostly from Joe Rance's point of view because the author interviewed Joe Rance before he passed away in 2006 or 7.
Okay.
He was the last remaining living member of the Boys in the Boat. I may need to double check that. Roger Morris may have outlived him by a couple of years. But Joe Rance had most of the memorabilia, and that's why the book is kind of focused on him, and I would assume the movie also kind of focuses on him.
Yeah, the movie opens with old Joe Rance watching his grandson in a skull, and like a powerboat goes by, and like grandson gets upset, and then it like flashes back to like, September 1936, Seattle, Washington, and young, sexy Joe Rance is waking up in his car, putting on his holy boots and walking to school like a real American.
So
uphill both ways through snow.
So he actually, he didn't live in a car, but he did live in the basement of the YMCA that was basically, I don't want to say illegally subdivided, but basically like subdivided for students who were too poor to afford on-campus housing. And they describe it as a wet basement that he basically used to sleep, and that was it.
I mean, not much better than a car, to be fair.
He also did not get paid for being part of the rowing team. It just gave you an opportunity to get an on-campus part-time job.
Okay. That's kind of how it goes in the movie. It's not a direct paycheck, but it is like guaranteed room and a guaranteed job is how they word it. Like if you make the rowing team, you get a job, and it's usually cleaning up the auditorium after stuff happens.
Joe Rance actually, to make money to go to school in the first place, his backstory, his life story.
Yes, it's touched on in the movie, but it's not the focus of the movie, so please.
So basically, his mom dies when he is fairly young, I think between 4 and 5. His dad straight up fucks off to Canada because he doesn't know how to handle his grief, abandoning his older son and younger son, Joe. Joe goes east to live with relatives, I think in Chicago, because he's very sick. When he heals, he gets sent back to live with his older brother, and he lives there for a couple years until his dad remarries the sister of his son's wife.
And I am my own grandpa.
Basically, Joe's older brother Fred is married to one sister, and
Dad is married to the other.
Dad is married to the other sister.
Yep.
I believe they're twins.
Yep.
And there is a massive age gap. I want to say...
You don't say.
Thula is like 22 when they get married, and he's, in his 40s.
Ew.
It does not go well. He basically moves them all around the country, all around that area of the country for work, and she hates it more and more and slowly starts to take out her frustrations on Joe, especially as she has her own children. I believe they have 3 or 4 kids. Until finally, when Joe is 8 years old, he yells at his younger brother, and she basically tells Joe's dad, get rid of him. I can't live in the house with him. And so Joe's dad is like, okay, and just ships his kid off to drops his kid off at school, and is like, yeah, you can't come home, so I have arranged for you to live with the schoolmaster and, live here.
That's so fucked up.
Yeah, it gets worse. So later, as he gets older, he starts working for himself, whatever. His dad starts building this great new house out in Sequim, which is a nowhere land, and eventually he gets a job at a mine, I think. And Joe comes home from school one day, and the whole car is packed up, including his younger siblings, and his dad's like, okay, bye, we're fucking off again, but Thula doesn't want you to come. And Joe's like, can't I just, like, ride with you? And so I'm not in the middle of fucking nowhere. And he's like, no, you're not allowed. And just fucks off. And leaves him with no food, or very little food, an unfinished house. And this kid is, like, I think 15 or 16 at the time. At that point, he decides, I'm never going to rely on anybody else ever again. And so he finds odd jobs around town. He plays the guitar to make money. Of course, it's the Depression, so not a lot of people have a lot of money to give him.
Yep.
But he basically works for an old farmer in the area and learns how to, like, fell logs and split beams and trees.
Okay, so in the movie, we see one or two scenes with his dad. When he's helping out with the boat, what's the guy's name that makes the boats?
George Pocock.
George Pocock. When he's hanging out with George Pocock and helping out with the woodworking, he says that he got the knowledge from his dad. He does say he's abandoned me 3 or 4 times, which I was like, oh, that's a funny joke, but no, it wasn't. Yeah, and then when his dad does show up, he's on a date with with Joyce. We'll talk about Joyce next. And he looks out and he sees his dad loading lumber into a truck. And he's like, how long have you been back in town? And his dad's like 3 years. I just didn't think you wanted to hear from me. And Joe's like, I mean, I didn't, but tell me you're here. Like, give a brother a warning.
So Joe works odd jobs till he has enough money to go to school for his first year. He tries out for crew because of the guaranteed income from the part-time job. And he loves it. The freshman crew, of course, goes on, and I believe they win they do, because he never loses. In his career, his collegiate career and, international career, he never loses a race. An official race, I should say.
Yeah.
And so he goes on, they win at Poughkeepsie, they beat Cal. He comes back.
So it's Poughkeepsie then Cal?
No, so it's Cal, then Poughkeepsie, then, it might be 2 races with Cal, actually.
Well, I guess they're there for multiple seasons, because we only get 1 season.
Yeah,
in the movie.
It's 3 seasons total in the book.
Okay, yeah, the 1 season we get it's just Cal, and that's their first race, and they beat Cal JV. Then they get subbed in the Poughkeepsie, and we see them, like, we hear about other races, but we see them beat Cal and Yale and them's for that.
Yeah.
And then we see the
trials,
the heat, the preliminary heat at the games, which they set the Olympic record, and then we see the final. So yeah, 4 wins. But I assume it was like season 1 Cal and Yale and Poughkeepsie, and then season 2 Cal and Yale and like it's the same structure for a couple years, except for 1 year it's the trials instead.
I think it may only be 2 races, because it's the race against Cal. And then it's Poughkeepsie, and they win both. And then the sophomore year, same thing, Cal and Poughkeepsie, and they win both. And then his junior year, it's Cal, Poughkeepsie, and then Olympic trials.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Poughkeepsie just was the Olympic trials in the movie.
Yeah. No, there was a 3rd specific race that was Olympic trials.
I feel like the season would be longer, but...
Yeah, like...
I guess what's important is just those races.
Yeah, I don't think they do any other races... they may race in California as well. Like, it might be 2 races.
Yeah. But it's not really important.
Yeah. So, Joe ends up living with his older brother again, and he finds out, sort of on the sly, that his dad and Thula are in town and probably have been for a while and just have never bothered to contact him. It takes him a long time until he finally goes to see, like, his younger brothers and sisters, and Thula basically is like, no, leave us the fuck alone, and shuts the door in his face. She does end up dying of an impacted bowel.
When you're so full of shit.
So, the summer between his sophomore and junior year, he goes and works on the fucking dam. The Hoover Dam.
Oh! You mean the legendary piece of American architecture just filled with bodies?
Yes.
Just littered with the corpses of the people who built it?
He took the most difficult job because it offered more money per hour. He made 75 cents an hour to dangle over the edge of the dam and chip away at the rock with a jackhammer.
I mean, with modern safety equipment, that sounds like fun. I'm not gonna lie to you. Jackhammer. I'm the cliff jackhammer guy. Like, that's fucking cool.
2 other boys, also from the rowing team, ended up there also to make money, because as a whole, this whole rowing team was kind of poor. Mm-hmm. So after their summer bonding, they come back, and it's basically like, the coach is like, hey, we're going straight to the fucking races, and this is gonna be miserable. And it's also like unseasonable weather every single year that they're there. It's like the Dust Bowl is happening. It's unseasonably rainy. Like I think they described the worst rainstorm.
How is it unseasonably rainy in Seattle?
41 inches of rain in like 2 weeks. It was a disaster for Seattle. Like, houses fell into the water.
Luckily, there's these 8 strapping lads with a very skinny boat that can come fish them out.
And so they make Olympic trial, or they win. And basically, when they go to Poughkeepsie, their coach tells them, pack as though you're going to Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they knew.
Yeah.
They're that fucking good.
Yeah.
You want to talk about Joyce?
Yes.
So let me give you what she is in the movie, and you can tell me how that's wrong.
Okay.
Because I'm starting to realize here, anything that I could easily wiki, they got right in the movie. The human relationships, that's where we're gonna write some Hollywood. Joyce is a girl he had a crush on in the 4th grade, and he wrote her a note, and then I guess left with his dad one of the times. And then in his engineering class in college, he recognizes her, and she's like, do you still have a crush on me like you did in the 4th grade? And she jokes with him. And then they start dating, and he goes back to her place after a party, which is like illegal because the 30s on a college campus. And he sees that she kept the note that he wrote her in 4th grade. And they start dating, but it's like right before he leaves for Poughkeepsie. And like, she's like, I love you, as he's getting on the train, and he gets on the train and then realizes it, and he gets off the train and he finds her, he's like, I love you too, and then they kiss, and the train's going away, and he's gonna miss Poughkeepsie, but he runs after and gets on the train in time. And then they interview him on the radio after the race, and he's like, I want to say hi to my girl Joyce, I'm gonna bring a medal home for you, or I'll let you wear the medal when I bring it home, or something like that. And like, she's listening on the radio with her friends, and they're all like, oh my god! And it's very romantic comedy, but also I kind of loved it.
So it's actually not that far-fetched.
Really?
They met in, I believe it would have been what we consider high school, like late middle school, early high school.
Okay.
She lived in Sequim, and they were friends. They had like a fling. They really liked each other. But her family moved away and then moved back. And after she moved back, he was basically like locking that shit down, and he proposed to her before they both went to college.
Aww.
So they were together basically his entire college career.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And hers.
That's how it works when you are engaged before you get there.
Nah. We want to know what that was like.
No, we waited till after.
I basically dated you my entire college career.
Yeah, plus or minus a month. Here and there. You want to talk about the movie a little bit?
Yeah.
Little stuff. The director, little guy, may have heard of him, George Clooney.
What a fucking weird. Is he trying to pull a Ben Affleck?
Apparently, his directorial debut, I didn't know this, was Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, which was like the 90s.
Oh.
And then like stuff like Good Night and Good Luck. He's been directing a while. He just doesn't do it that often, it seems.
Oh.
Because he's
too busy being George Clooney.
He's too pretty to be behind the camera. Screenplay was Mark L. Smith. He also wrote the screenplays for The Revenant and Twisters.
What? Those are two very different things.
Yes. They sure are. Well, are they? What is a tornado but a bear attacking Leonardo DiCaprio? You shoot them the same way. I also grabbed this one because I recognized immediately that it was special, the score of this movie. Mm-hmm. And something about it's very like staccato. We didn't really get it in the trailer because it had that like moody cover of a classic rock song. But it's like a really like staccato, noticeable score. And I thought, this is actually pretty good. I wonder who did it. And it was Alexander Desplat, who won Oscars for his scores for The Shape of Water and for Grand Budapest Hotel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's behind the music of this movie, and it is good shit. It's...
I know it's not, but I'm just hearing a Wes Anderson score now.
I mean, you're not far off. It's
moody Wes Anderson.
It's in that wheelhouse.
It's in that shell house.
Coach Al Ulbrichson was played by Joel Edgerton, friend of the pod. He played Tom Buchanan in The Great Gatsby.
Okay.
And he was Uncle Owen in Star Wars, everything but like the original one, which I thought was very funny.
All right.
Joe Rance was played by the way too sexy in this movie, Callum Turner, who played Tiger in Green Room, and he played Frank Churchill in Emma.
Oh.
This was like his biggest role to date that I could tell.
I assume he's the super blonde one.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's an attractive man. I wrote Boat Guy. George Pocock was played by Peter Guinness, who played Lord Crane in Sleepy Hollow. And he played Desaad in Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Of course.
Don Hume was played by Jack Mullern, who was Dylan on Mayor of Easttown. And he played Timmy in Pet Sematary Bloodlines. A lot of really unknown actors in this, to be honest with you. Joyce Simdars was played by Hadley Robinson. She was Sally in Little Women. And she's Lori in I'm Thinking of Ending Things, probable future episode of the pod.
Oh god. We should do that in Annihilation and just fuck ourselves up for
weeks. just ruin a month. And Bobby Mock was played by Luke Slattery. I thought he was great, and he ain't done shit. He was in The Post and New Amsterdam. I didn't even write down roles, because he was like page boy in The Post. Like,
all right.
Didn't do a whole lot. I don't have a lot of fun stuff from behind the scenes, but I do have an alternate director.
Oh, you're making a face at me.
Would you like to guess?
Fucking Kenneth Branagh?
On March 2000. In March 2011, the Weinstein Company acquired the film rights, and they wanted Kenneth Branagh to direct.
Honestly, it probably wouldn't have been bad. He's not a bad director when he's not directing himself.
I don't want him to play the coach.
He wouldn't have played the coach.
Would he have played Brundage?
No, he would have been Pocock.
Oh my god, he would have been Pocock.
Because Pocock is like the heart and soul.
Oh, it would have fucking ruined the movie.
Yeah.
Because he would have been way too extra about it. Like, the guy that played him, I already forget who it was. But Peter Guinness? Is that what his name was?
I think so. That's all.
Yeah,
right.
Peter Guinness. Ah, yeah, I got it. I still got it. Peter Guinness is great in it because he's exactly what he needs to be, and that is Rance's therapist in an era where men don't go to therapy.
I was literally going to make a joke that men will literally roll away their abandonment issues instead of going to therapy.
Earlier, I was going to say men would literally escape to Canada instead of going to therapy. So... But yeah, Kenneth Branagh is not playing the therapist unless he's playing a therapist with a pipe and a pen and a couch and the whole fucking shebang, you know? I also have Kenneth Branagh in here again, and I only pull this because it's funny that it's these specific people. As of 2023, Clooney is one of 4 people to have been nominated for Academy Awards in 6 categories. The other 3, Kenneth Branagh. This is a movie I can't make, Walt Disney. And Alfonso Cuarón.
Ooh.
So I just thought that was fascinating that, like, hey, I brought these names up a lot already.
That is stellar company to be in with the exception of Kenneth.
Yeah, right. The $5,000 they had to raise is the equivalent of $108,000 today.
Damn.
You got to get that boat. You got to get that boat to Berlin safely. Over water. Without rowing it.
They actually...
All right, boys, get in the boat. We're going to Germany.
They made a joke about, at one point they were... The coach was like, you can't work out. The best working out you can do is rowing, and doing other stuff ruins it. They're like, all right, give us the boat. We'll row the rest of the way.
Yeah. Because rowing, we learned this watching the first night of the Olympics, that rowing uses, I think, 84% of your muscles.
So, is there anything about any of the boys in the boat being Jewish?
I think there's like a line or two.
One of the boys in the boat, I don't remember which one it is. I think it may have been Bobby Mock. Found out he was Jewish on the way to the games. His father, he found out because he asked for the names of relatives in Germany, or not in Germany, in like Alsace-Lorraine and I think Switzerland. And his dad was like, okay, I'll send them to you, but was like weird about it. And when he got the letter with the addresses, there was a second letter enclosed that said, open this when you're alone. And his dad was basically like, hey, just so you know, you're gonna find out that your family is Jewish. I am Jewish. And, like, it talks about how the boy was, like, devastated that his father felt he had to hide that part of himself and didn't feel comfortable even in America, like, revealing that.
Well, it's taken about 15 years. But I finally learned of a worse place to find out you're Jewish than in a room full of men in their underwear.
A steamship heading into fucking Nazi Germany.
That's worse. That's worse. So for context, we did a play in college, and we're all changing after the play. Tiny dressing room underneath the stage at Albright. And there's like probably 8-9 of us in there. And we're all at underwear levels of changed at this point. And one of the cast members, he is an African-American gentleman, real character. He's talking about his, we're talking about grandmas or something. And someone else mentions their Jewish grandma. And he's like, I got a grandma like that too. Wait, you what? Yeah, my grandma, she's an old Jewish lady. Is it your mom's mom or your dad's mom? My mom's? You're Jewish! I'm what? This is an absolute true story. This man was 19 years old and found out he was Jewish in a room full of half-naked men. And it's taken 15 years to find a worse place to find out. A worse time and place, I should say. Oh, I didn't think I'd be telling that story tonight. Oh. I like method directing. It's a bit of a stretch to call this method directing. But they got the actors who were actually rowing the boat up to 46 strokes per minute.
Oh, God.
Because they wanted to do it.
So the way that rowing in general is described in the book is that it is not a matter of if you will be in pain, it is a matter of how well you will stand up to continuing to row while pain has her way with you.
When you get to sports like that, especially with rowing, the sport is 100% mental. Because everyone, especially at the Olympic level, on a physical level, is going to be roughly the same. Literally any rowing match, anyone can win until the mentality comes into play.
And that was another thing that was really interesting. Did they talk about strategy at all?
A little bit.
So the strategy of the Washington team was basically to let other teams tire themselves out because they were powerful enough to keep basically in like second or third place without trying very hard, but other teams had to fight to keep in front of them.
Yep.
And when the team gave out, then they would pull forward. And the coach was worried because he watched Great Britain practice, and that's the same thing that they did. So he was like, what's going to happen when it's two teams that are testing each other?
Yep.
You
fucking sprint from the start and pray.
One of the reporters at the Poughkeepsie Regatta, when Bobby Mock pulls the move off for the first time, described it as cold-blooded. Because they literally are, like, watching the Cal team gasp and just dive and fail, and Bobby's just like, okay, now, in literally the last, like, 500 meters of a 4-mile race.
Yeah.
And it's just like, fuck you.
He's literally doing that, by the way. Because he's got his, like, thing on his face. He's got the cone, the speaky cone.
Yes.
As he's, like, giving the stroke and everything like that. And he'll, like, make eye contact with other coxswains and do, like, the I'm watching you gesture and, like, yell, like, stroke, fuck you, stroke. Like, it's amazing. He's so fucking hardcore.
So the sophomore year, Joe's sophomore year was like a big deal because it was the year before the Olympics, and the coach was already thinking about it. So he was like messing up the boat, and the junior varsity/varsity team was so pissed at the sophomores because they had basically been shown up by them the year before, and now they were getting promoted over them.
Yep.
That Bobby Mock would literally fuck with their heads as they were going through. And I'm trying to remember like the specific things that he did, but basically he would just taunt them to the point where they would lose all concentration.
I love it. I love that, like, basketball energy of, like, I will fuck you up mentally because this is a mental sport. I will take that advantage any way I can get it because that is what this is about.
There's a little section dedicated to like each of the positions in the boat. I don't remember the specific name of what Joe's position is. He's in the number 3 seat basically, or the number 2 seat.
Okay, I was gonna say he's definitely in the 2. They go through it so quick in the movie. It's like one line of dialogue.
Yeah,
where they're like, you two, you're the power. You two, you're steering the thing. You two, you're hanging out. You two, you're the pace. Like.
So it's like Don Hume is the stroke, which is basically the guy that sets the pace. Mm-hmm. He's almost as important as the coxswain.
Yeah.
And then it's like I think it's seats 4, 5, and 6, or 5, 6, and 7 are considered the engine room.
Oh yeah, it is groups of 3. I'm misremembering. Yeah. The engine room.
Yeah, and it's like 2, 3, and 4 are the other thing that's basically like not the power, but they're kind of like the marriage of the front seat and the rest of the boat.
Yeah.
So when it talks about the coxswain, he describes it as he's usually the smallest person in the boat, but he's also usually the meanest and the toughest.
Yep.
Because he has to make these bigger men listen to him.
Yup.
Also, something funny that I remember specifically is that apparently George Pocock designed his boat specifically for a 120-pound coxswain, and both Roger Morris and Bobby Mock were 119 pounds.
Beautiful. You mentioned the British boat earlier. In the movie, there's a scene where they're talking about the other boats, and they mention one rower on the British boat. His name is Ran Laurie.
Yes.
Father of actor Hugh Laurie.
Yes, they mention him in the book, too.
Beautiful.
Because they both... Hugh Laurie actually rowed for Eton? Oxford? One of them.
Oh, did he?
Because his father was also... Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yes, because rowing is a British sport. But also...
Oh, it's British as fuck.
The stroke that the Washington team uses is not the same stroke that the British team uses because it was developed by George Pocock as a combination of... it was developed with George Pocock's assistance by the previous coach of the Washington team prior to Al Ulbrichtson. It's called the Conabear stroke. That's the guy's name.
Yeah.
And he basically taught the stroke. It's both faster and shorter somehow, or it's like faster and longer in some ways. They go into the details of the mechanics, but that's early in the book, so I forget.
Yeah, they did a bit where like he's going through like the 4 phases of it, and like it's a 1, 2, 3, 4 count. You got to make sure you do all 4.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
But the stroke is so much more efficient. That's part of the reason why they're able to do so well later.
Yeah, I love that shit. I love getting in the weeds about that shit. read the Wikipedia article on the breaststroke today because I was trying to figure out how it separated from the breaststroke to the butterfly. Like, I wanted to know, like, who did it, and they named names.
It's their fault.
There's a guy, like, you know, we've been watching swimming. You know how, like, they have to come up by that one buoy on their kicks? That's because in, like, the 30s somewhere, a guy won a race spending 90% of the race underwater.
Well, yeah.
Because it was faster.
Yeah.
Like, he only did, like, 3 or 4 strokes a lap, like...
Leon Marchand, he did that shit.
But anyway, like, now I know tomorrow at work when I'm bored, I'm going to be researching the rowing strokes.
This book is a lot of weeds.
Oh, I love it.
The story itself is not actually that, like, shocking. I mean, it's shocking,
there are
but
details that are like, I don't believe this, but what happens is underdog team wins the Olympics is not that shocking.
Exactly.
That's actually why it makes, like, such a nice, tidy, like, 2-hour movie, is all the beats are already there. They just, like, changed up some of the interpersonal relationship stuff.
Yeah.
And you've got a fucking movie. Like, it's shorten the timeline down. Really easy to film.
Yep.
So, I normally save this segment for when we have child actors.
Oh, no.
But I was curious. Where are they now? And since the actors, you know, just made the movie, they're probably still on set. The characters are real people. We can research that. Do they go into detail about what happens to everybody in the book?
Yes, they're in the epilogue.
Okay, so this won't be news to you. But I was fascinated, so I wanted to learn. And so this is for you, the audience. Just the 3, like, main boys in the boat that we've talked about.
Yeah.
Joe Rance lived to 93. Like you said, he was the oldest boy in the boat. He graduated U of Washington with a degree in chemical engineering, and he worked for Boeing for 35 years. This is before Boeing planes were falling apart in the sky, so he's a good guy.
Didn't he also work for NASA?
He contributed to the invention of the clean room.
Yes.
Which is basically a design space for scientific experiments designed to keep all external particles out. So thank him for all of modern medicine, basically. Don Hume served in World War II in the Merchant Marine. He went on to a career in oil and gas exploration and was the president of the West Coast Mining Association.
Yes.
So we can blame Hume for the fumes, I guess.
Boo.
That's not bad for Off the Dome. And our boy Bobby Mock ended up coaching crew at U of Washington. Later coached crew at MIT, where he then earned his law degree from Harvard. While coaching at MIT.
Yep.
He became a lawyer, went back to Seattle, and he actually won a case in front of the Supreme Court. I didn't look up what the case was. If I did, it was boring and not worth mentioning.
Okay. As long as it's not like we shouldn't let black people have books.
It's not like he did it in front of this Supreme Court. He's dead. They're all dead. Where they are now is underground.
Since I've been the one doing the depressing Nazi history here, the British coxswain, I believe, was one of the only people to survive being captured by the Japanese in the Pacific Theater and marched, basically. He may have been in China, it's not super clear, but basically he was part of a project that was essentially, after his unit was captured, that force marched into Thailand, and even as his captors started developing the local diseases, he would minister to them as a chaplain, even as he was essentially their slave labor. And he did survive the war. He was one of only, I think, 250 people to survive that particular occupation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't look up any of the other boats. Because America. Fuck yeah.
We know what happened to Joseph Goebbels. We know what happened to his wife and their children, which is deeply fucked up. Leni Riefenstahl, we know what happened to her.
She made a really good Olympics documentary and nothing else.
Made a really good Olympics documentary and spent the rest of her life pulling herself away from that work.
I hate saying it, but it's a really good movie.
She is like,
it's a good account of the games. There's a lot of Hitler in there. She's a good filmmaker.
I don't want to say she invented things, but like dolly shots, digging cameras and stationing them underground, especially for the marathon.
Like how we still film sports is based off of her work, and the content I don't agree with, obviously. But the craft is there. Credit where it's due.
She is excellent at... She has an incredible talent. She had an incredible talent, I should say. I don't think she's still alive.
She is not. This was 100 years ago. 90 years ago.
She just used it for evil.
Yeah. Bitch. So, you recommend the book?
It's fine. It's paced a little weirdly. Like, it still feels expository almost up until you get into the racing at the Olympic Games. Like, it still feels like he's trying to give you information about rowing as you're watching them win the gold medal, or reading about them winning the gold medal.
I mean, that's kind of how it works when you watch the games. There's somebody there explaining to you what's happening as the best in the world are doing it.
Yeah, it just... The book is more a story about Joe Rance, because, like, the first 2/3 of it are up until the Olympic year. So it's a lot of, like, background on Joe, primarily, and some of the other boys. You get a little bit of background on George Pocock, you get a little bit of background on Al Olbrichson and Tom Bowles and all that kind of stuff. You get background on rowing in the United States and rowing more generally, but it's fine. If you like this kind of thing, you will enjoy reading it. I appreciated that he did go out of his way to explain the horrors that were masked by the Nazis in the games, and how he explained, like, all this shit was happening way before we cared about it in the US.
Yeah.
I didn't read the notes, but he has very extensive notes. I think he said he had over 1,000 pages of notes that he condensed down into the manuscript.
Wow.
Because he also, like, Joe Rance had a lot of the personal effects of the other boys that he got to see. The Olympic boat, by the way, the Husky Clipper. Do you know where it is now?
You know, I think I read this, but I compiled my notes a week ago and do not recall.
As of the writing of the book, it was suspended from the ceiling in the University of Washington shell house.
Oh, it's home where it belongs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you recommend the movie?
You know, it's a good movie. It's a very, I don't want to say family friendly, because, like, I believe there's some language.
It's about essentially teenage boys.
My mother, who does not watch movies, saw this one before me.
Huh.
And enjoyed it. It's that kind of, like, mom movie, you know? It's, I wouldn't say heavy-handed, but really on the nose with
the story's on the fucking
exactly.
nose.
It's like, it's got that, like, real underdog story, feel-good sheen to it. Which isn't a bad thing. If you want something more challenging, there's more challenging films out there, obviously. But for me, solid 4 out of 5. I clearly have a special interest in the Olympics.
No.
So that does influence a little bit, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm standing and cheering in my living room watching that last race, knowing how it ends. Which, did it actually end in a photo finish?
Yes, it did. The Germans thought that Germany had won. They actually announced...
Didn't they come in 4th?
No, they were...
I thought it was USA, Britain, Italy.
No.
Was Britain 4?
Yeah, Britain.
Okay, then they were 3rd. Germany was 3rd.
Yeah. It was the US. Actually, Germany may have been 4th. I'm not totally sure.
If only.
If only we had a way. But it was close. It was like the US won by like a second.
US, Italy, Germany, Great Britain.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
I knew they didn't come second either, because Italy was in there.
Yeah.
And then I got in my head about
because they beat Italy basically at the last possible second.
Yeah. The other fascists. But yeah, it's a sports movie. It's like a stereotypical sports movie. Not that that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good. I liked it.
It was enjoyable.
The story is fascinating. But now that you know the story, just listen to the podcast. It'll take half the time. That is the service we provide to you fine people for free on God's green internet.
What's the internet green?
You remember like old 80s monitors? The Matrix?
Yep.
The internet is green, Cody.
Can I interest you in everything all of the time?
No, you cannot. There's a reason why I just like quit Twitter cold turkey. It's like, maybe I don't need everything all the time. Maybe I just want some things some of the time.
So it's a solid recommend for you, and if you like it's a solid...
It sounds like if you want more detail, if you want to get into the weeds, read the book. I kind of want to read the book now.
I think you would enjoy it.
Mm. Is it written narratively or like a historical... Like, how do I want to word it?
It's kind of written like a memoir.
Okay. Yeah.
Or a biography, I should say.
I was like, is it a history or a biography or a historical narrative, I guess is what I was asking.
It's kind of a historical narrative.
Okay. Cool.
It is third person limited.
Thank you. Remember we tried to do that every week?
Yeah.
It's just so clunky.
Yes.
Well, speaking of how the novels are written, next time around, we're going to be mixing things up a little bit.
We are.
We are dipping our two-person skull into some untested waters, if you will.
Hi.
Riding that segue, baby. Our next series, because we're going to do 4. We're going to do movies based on plays.
Because we are theater brats.
We both have degrees.
We sure
from
do.
an institution that last I heard is still in existence.
Yeah, for right now.
I think I have a cousin that might still go there.
Oh, neat.
We got degrees from that institution.
You got a BS.
I got a BS in theater. Cody has a BA in theater. And we haven't talked to... And Luna has a BA in screaming for treats. She thinks she's a BA, but she's just a bunch of BS. So we're doing plays that were turned into movies.
Yes.
And we're starting with the grandpappy of them all, old Billy Shakes. That's right, William Shakespeare. And, he's had so many plays turned into movies. There was Romeo and Juliet, the one from the 50s. There was Romeo plus Juliet, the one from the 90s. There was West Side Story, which is just Romeo and Juliet again.
From the 50s also.
There's our episode on Warm Bodies, if you want to get a little weird with it. He also made... there's The Tragedy of Macbeth. And there's Hamlet, with our friend Kenneth Branagh. Are we talking about Hamlet? No. Are we doing Hamlet 2000 with Ethan Hawke? Fucking no.
We should, though.
Are we doing Hamlet 2? No. That's not based on a Shakespeare. Billy, what Shakespeare are we doing? You've named the big 3. Are you getting funky and doing She's the Man based on Twelfth Night?
You didn't even mention other Kenneth Branagh Much Ado About Nothing.
Are you doing Much Ado About Nothing with Kenneth Branagh? The one that's weirdly a musical before World War II. Are you doing... Oh, no, that's not... That was Love's Labor's Lost with Kenneth Branagh, which is weirdly a musical before... No, we're not doing any of that shit.
We're getting artsy in here.
We're doing a film based on a Shakespeare that neither of us has read or seen. Next week we are doing William Shakespeare's Titus Andronicus and the Julie Taymor adaptation, Titus.
Hell yes.
I am seriously looking forward to getting absolutely bong ripped and watching 2.5 hours of Julie Taymor's brain explode onto a screen.
I almost want to watch it with you because I feel like it's not going to have any connection to what I read, beyond visually.
You know what? I will allow you to watch it with me as long as you don't talk during it.
I can't make any promises.
Deal. But until then, you can reach us at our socials. Linktree at soonmajorpod. That's not it. linktr.ee/soonmajorpod. You may notice on that Linktree is an email address. We like to give prompts, and you can send us little thingies to talk about on the pod. So for this week, what sporting event would you want to see dramatized on screen?
I have an answer if you don't have one yet.
Is your answer the same answer as my answer?
I don't think so.
What's your answer?
My answer is the American and Canadian hockey hockey captains that keep fucking each other and getting married and having babies. It's happened twice. I want that story.
Did you specify women's?
I thought I intended to if I didn't.
I can't recall if you did or not. Just to specify, this has been happening for decades on the women's hockey games. It keeps happening. For me, and I will say, I'm going to put it on the pod, even though it's going to seem super dated when you hear this in a week. But I said this as the event was unfolding. I want the men's 2024 gymnastics all around, specifically the U.S., because it's a pretty good story, the way these guys came together. And they're all interesting people with interesting stories. And they came together to give the U.S. their first medal in team gymnastics since 2008.
U.S. men.
U.S. men, obviously. Thank you. We both needed to specify here. Great story. But the best part of it is when you're watching 90 minutes of this movie, and the whole time there's a guy in the background wearing glasses playing with the Rubik's Cube, and he's never mentioned. And
Miss Ken's job is horse.
And then the climax of the movie is when Steven Nadorowski comes out, takes off his glasses, and performs the best pommel horse routine you've ever seen to win the bronze. And I want this to be a comedy like Blades of Glory.
Absolutely. I want it to be done with all of the love and affection and gravitas of that one fake folk music documentary.
Oh, A Mighty Wind?
Yes! I want the A Mighty Wind Men's Gymnastics 2024 USA.
How would you even do that? Because, like, A Mighty Wind, I think, was mostly unscripted. I don't even know how you would do that, but yes, that's the energy I want from this.
Yes.
So if you at home have a sports story that you want to see dramatized, send it to soonmajorpod@gmail.com. You can also hit us up at our various social media links in the link tree in the description. And now, if you excuse me, I have Olympics to watch. Outro music, play us out. Not gonna try to say something to ruin the ending?
No.